What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with a little bit of gaming commentary, and we're going to be playing a little bit of Mass Effect 3 multiplayer here if I can find a game. But hope you guys are having a good Friday. It's almost the weekend, so we're getting there. The week is almost over with. But what's coming up next week is actually something that is really exciting. We have this year's E3, which will be starting on Sunday. I believe the first press conference is going to be at 9:30 Eastern Time here in the U.S. I believe Bethesda is up first. They're going to give open things up on Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday we'll have your standard stuff coming from Nintendo and EA and the other big companies. So it's kind of the exciting time for year for us gamers. We get to kind of see what's coming out in terms of new video games for later this year and for next year and see what these companies have planned for us. So there are a lot of things I'm actually looking forward to this year. The last couple of E3s have been a little bit of a letdown. But there are definitely some games coming out later in 2015 and hopefully in 2016 that I am looking forward to. So what I was going to do with this video is basically just talk about what I'm looking forward to at E3 and the main games that I can't wait to see, that I want to see coverage about. And that's pretty much going to be it. I hope you guys have some games you're looking forward to at E3, and if you do, definitely talk about them down below in the comments if there's anything you're certainly excited about. So with that having been said, I'm going to just go ahead and get started here and start talking about what I'm looking forward to the most at this E3. Now, one thing I will just kind of start with. This is going to be a little minute. Couple. These are two games that I'm really not super excited about, but just hopeful that there's going to be some improvement coming to them and some things they're going to show us. And first thing is obviously Destiny. Obviously, Bungie is going to be presenting something at E3 regarding the Taken King, which is the new expansion that's going to be coming out for Destiny, which is all the leaked information I've reported on all that. It's supposedly going to be in September, and it is supposedly going to cost $40 and have a whole bunch of content. So I'm hoping that they will actually shed a lot of light on it. They kind of hinted at it in their weekly update that they are going to be going, they're going to E3 intent on really blowing our minds, as they always say. But we'll see. It's Bungie, and so far all of their E3s with regards to Destiny have turned out to be just a bunch of hype, really, with no real substance and stuff that didn't really translate into the final game. So we'll see what happens. I'm not even going to say optimistic, because at this point, like I said, I've pretty much stopped playing Destiny for the most part. I get on here and there to run some bounties and do some other stuff. And obviously some of you guys still want to see some videos for Destiny, so I still do things like my Zerv videos and weekly reset videos, things like that. But overall, I'm on my way out with Destiny. At this point, I'm not even planning on buying the DLC unless it is absolutely just amazing and finally delivers on a lot of the stuff that they promised back in 2013, but I doubt it. But still, I'm still going to pay attention to it and see what they announce. The other game that kind of falls in that category for me is going to be Black Ops 3, which Treyarch is working on with Activision, obviously Call of Duty. I haven't played Call of Duty in a long time. It's just it's a game I kind of fell out of love with after I played Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 extensively, and Black Ops 1 even a little bit. The last game I really have experience with in that series is actually Black Ops 2, which I actually really enjoyed Black Ops 2. I thought Black Ops 2 had some of the best multiplayer in Call of Duty that we'd seen in a long time. And I actually am a little bit cautiously optimistic about Treyarch working on Black Ops 3, because Treyarch to me has done a fairly decent job with the Call of Duty series, and a lot of the stuff that's been coming out about the game, they've really it seems like they are really trying to be innovative. They're going to try to make this Call of Duty a lot different than all the other ones that have come out. It's supposedly going to be more of an open world type Call of Duty game where there's going to be a lot of different ways you can progress through each campaign stage. There's going to be a lot of stuff you can do with regards to, weapons and PvP, and have different loadouts and things like that. So, which is good. They're trying to make. They've pretty much come out and said, we know Call of Duty is getting pretty stagnant, and we need to make some changes to the series, and that appears to be what they are working on. And every game could use a little innovation now and then, especially Call of Duty. It seems like they've been doing the same thing on that game for the last decade. So it would be nice to see them kind of do things a little differently and see what kind of changes they can make. So I will definitely be paying attention to it as someone who, I wouldn't mind if they made a good Call of Duty game. I wouldn't mind going back to the series and trying it out again, but definitely want to see, what their plans are and what they have in store for us. So going to be paying probably minimal attention, but a little bit there. But those two games I really are not major things I'm looking forward to, but definitely things that will have my attention and I will keep an eye on. That having been said, let me move on to the games I am most excited for coming up at E3. Now, the first game I'm really looking forward to seeing is The Division. Now, this is a game that's been rumored and hinted about, and we've seen a little bit of gameplay on it, but we really don't know a whole lot about it. So I'm hoping we finally are going to get some major content update on what it's going to have in it, how exactly it's going to work. If you guys don't know, The Division is basically going to be a shooter, third-person shooter. It's a Tom Clancy title, which those for the most part have usually been pretty good. So it's been pretty hard for them to screw up the Tom Clancy games. They're a little bit more of a serious style shooter. You have to be very tactical into Tom Clancy games. You have to have some strategy. You can't kind of go in guns blazing like you can in a lot of these other first-person shooter games. It actually does require some teamwork and some skill, and knowing the maps and knowing what you're doing. And it's somewhat, I don't want to say realistic, but it's somewhat a little bit more difficult because you basically, if you get shot, you're dead. There's none of this. You can take like so much damage before you die and your health recovers. Basically, you get shot once or twice, you're dead. And I've really enjoyed all the Tom Clancy games I've played, whether it was Rainbow Six or I could even go way back in the day to like the Delta Force games. I used to play Call of Duty in college, and that's I don't want to date myself, but that was a while back. And some really good games they've had in that series. So definitely looking forward to the Division. I'm really more so looking forward to seeing them explain how it's going to work, since it's supposed to be that open world type shooter that we thought we were going to get with Destiny, and I'm really hoping to see they just really give us some concrete details on how exactly that is all going to come together. In terms of character customization, in terms of seeing other players in the world, how the PvP is going to work, and just basically all that stuff. So definitely excited for the Division. That is on my list of games I'm thinking about probably buying. So hopefully it's going to be a pretty good game and a good E3 for the Division. The only little tiny thing I have about it is an Ubisoft game. And Ubisoft, as everybody knows, has really had some tough times lately. They have really just been really having some issues with a lot of their games. Watch Dogs, obviously. The Assassin's Creed they had a lot of problems with. So I am somewhat wary of them doing the Division. But so far it seems like they are pretty dedicated to making it good. So we will see. Just like everything else, who knows. But that is definitely cause for concern because Ubisoft, like I said, just of the last year, they've probably been one of the worst developers and just one of the developers that has had a lot of problems with their games. So it's going to be interesting to see what they actually come up with the Division, and we'll be cautiously optimistic for it. So that's the first game I'm really looking forward to at E3 next week, hoping to really see a lot of that. That's a game I'll probably cover on this channel, especially since I plan on getting it if it looks good. Moving on, the next game that I'm really looking forward to is going to be Halo 5. Now, I am a longtime Halo player, longtime Halo fan. I have played Halo since it came out on the original Xbox back when I was in college. As much as I give Bungie crap for on Destiny, they did an amazing job with the Halo series. It was always a really fun series that had something for everyone. It had really great, campaign and single player. It had really solid player versus player. It had some of the best first-person shooter PvP I've ever played. Very well balanced, very fair, and required the players to learn gun skill and learn the map layouts and find the power weapons. Just a really great experience overall playing Halo all the way up through Halo 3. And Halo Reach is actually which is probably going to give me a lot of crap. It's actually my favorite Halo that Bungie made. I just love the story in Reach. I love the characters. I liked how it was a little bit different, and you got to go back to before the series started and kind of play some of the prequel stuff. Even if it didn't follow the books 100%, I was pretty much willing to overlook a lot of that. I know a lot of players, there's a lot of diehard Halo fans who just give Reach so much crap because it doesn't follow the book to the letter. Overall, I still thought it was a great game with really great characters. I love Noble Team. At that point, I had gotten kind of sick of Master Chief because he's in every single game, and he's really, if you think about it, not an amazing character. He's really a good character because of the pairing with Cortana. And that's something about Halo 5. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Cortana. They took a very ballsy move in Halo 4 and took her out of the equation. And it's going to be interesting to see if they kind of bend to the will of the fans and they bring Cortana back. It's going to be kind of interesting to see if they take a total cop-out on the ending from Halo 4. But a lot of interesting things to see where the story is going to go with Halo. 343 has really got to have a great E3 with Halo because they have, number one, Halo 4 was their first attempt. And while I will admit Halo 4 wasn't a bad game. There were things about Halo 4 I really do enjoy. I thought Halo 4 had a really good campaign. I really enjoyed the co-op play. I thought Spartan Ops was a lot of fun. It was kind of a really neat idea for the game. The PvP was the big failure for Halo 4 in my opinion. They tried to make it way too much like Call of Duty. They tried to make it a little bit too mainstream. They really wanted to bring in a lot of those Call of Duty players by trying to make Halo more like the more popular shooters, and it just did not work at all. What they succeeded in doing actually was they basically divided the fan base of Halo. They made the diehard sort of, the Halo players who had been around forever. They kind of alienated a lot of them and basically turned them off to the game. And then what they also did is they failed to capture that Call of Duty element because those players obviously were going to go play Call of Duty. So they pretty much really screwed up Halo 4 big time in terms of the multiplayer. Now, moving along, though, they went on to work on the Master Chief Collection, which, of course, was supposed to be this just amazing. I was so excited when they announced that game that they were going to be redoing all the Halo campaigns for next gen and basically, putting them on the new console and letting us get to play them with all new graphics and new updates and things. So that was exciting, but then of course everybody knows Master Chief Collection had an absolutely disastrous launch. It was plagued by all kinds of networking issues and other bugs, trophies not awarding, just, lots of problems that it had. And it just, unfortunately, what it did was it alienated more of the Halo players. It really made people not trust 343. I know a lot of diehard fans of Halo have already written off Halo 5. A lot of people are not willing to give 343 another chance. So they have really got their work cut out for them. Now, I'll give 343 a little bit of credit because even though Master Chief Collection was an utter disaster, and even though they really failed big time with that, they did give players compensation. They gave you compensation for the game. They gave you free ODST. They gave you a free month of Xbox Live. And some will argue they didn't do enough, but in this day and age when the norm is to just kind of ignore it and do nothing about it, like a lot of developers do, they at least did something, which is better than nothing most of the time. But that was it. They definitely have tried to make up for the Master Chief Collection debacle. And I give 343 credit too because they really did communicate a lot with the players. Even when the Master Chief was a disaster, they could have just put their head in the sand. They could have ignored it and said, "Oh, we're going to fix it," and that's all they would have had to say. But they gave daily updates on their Twitter. They gave daily updates on their website. They really did the best job they possibly could to try to keep the player base up to date, let them know what they were doing to fix the game. And they really, in that department, I think they tried to manage their community pretty well. The problem is they've definitely created a lot of ill will for a lot of the Halo fan base, so it's going to be tough for them to win over a lot of the diehards. But I'm definitely looking forward to Halo 5. They've made some other good strides. Like they said, all the PvP DLC was going to be for free. They said you're no longer going to need Xbox Live for co-op play, so you don't have to pay like you do with a lot of other games if you don't have Xbox Live. Now, one thing they did do that really is kind of irritating some people is they've taken away the split-screen co-op mode, which has kind of been a staple of Halo, and I know a lot of people are upset about that. So that's something that a lot of people are focusing on instead of some of the better stuff that's been coming out about the game. So that's just another hurdle they're going to have to overcome with Halo 5. Now, there are some interesting elements of Halo 5. It seems like it's going to be a squad-based combat game, which is something that we have not seen with Halo before. There's going to be Blue Team, which is going to be Master Chief, and his Spartan team. One of the really great things about this game, I think, is if you guys are, big time on the lore, you will remember Chief's Spartan team from the books, when he was with Linda and Kelly and Fred. They are all going to be back in Halo 5. They're going to be his Spartan team, Blue Team. You will be able to control them. You will actually be able to play as them. If you don't want to play as Chief, you can play as one of them instead. They're all going to have different class abilities and class specialties, and it's going to be interesting to see how they pull off the squad combat mechanic with Halo, since that's, again, something that's we've never really seen in Halo, and it's going to be 343, another innovative thing they try to do, which, of course, a lot of that stuff they've tried in Halo's backfired on them, so we're gonna really get to see if they've done it right this time. And then on the other side, you're going to have Spartan Locke, obviously, who is hunting down Master Chief. He's going to have his own Spartan team with different different characters there. And actually, Buck from ODST is going to be in this game. He is now a Spartan 4, so that's pretty exciting. Nathan Fillion will be returning to do his voice acting. I wasn't a big fan of ODST, but Buck was definitely a cool character. So kind of neat that he's back. Although it does suck he's kind of running with Spartan Locke. Not a huge fan of that. I watched the Nightfall series. Just not a big fan of Spartan Locke's character at all. I don't think he's all that cool. And it's just going to be really interesting to see how they do that dynamic between him and Master Chief. And the other thing is the Spartan 4s in Halo 4 to me were utterly useless and totally annoying. So the fact that Locke is a Spartan 4 to me just right there tells me he has no business going up against Master Chief in the first place. So lots of stuff on Halo 5 to look forward to, hopefully. And hopefully 343 gets it right. So definitely excited for that. I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to Microsoft press conference and what 343 is planning on doing going forward with Halo 5, because they really need to nail this, guys. They are planning on doing a Halo 6, and if they don't knock it out of the park with Halo 5, there's probably no point to them even making a Halo 6, because at this point, they're probably going to lose a lot of the fans the fans that are still left, that is. So, again, Halo 5, definitely looking forward to it. Can't wait to see what they do. Going to be really, really awesome to see, hopefully. Moving on, the next game I'm looking forward to kind of relates to what I'm playing right now, and that is going to be Mass Effect 4, or whatever BioWare decides to call the next extension of this, what's been an absolutely epic series. We haven't had much news on Mass Effect 4. BioWare has been very hush-hush about it. We got a little bit of a teaser last year at E3 where they played like a little 2-minute video. It had like the Galaxy map music in the background, and they showed some of the maps and some of the environments, and they just teased that they were working on it. What little we do know about Mass Effect 4, or whatever the successor is going to be, is it will not involve any of the old characters. It's not going to have anything to do really with Commander Shepard. It is going to take place after Mass Effect 3, and supposedly it will be taking place in a brand new galaxy that's been discovered, where we're going out and exploring and trying to, maybe find things, and who knows. It's going to be very interesting. But I'm kind of a little nervous about it, because obviously Mass Effect as a trilogy was an absolutely amazing series. It's a series I really don't want to see screwed up in any way. Some will argue EA screwed up Mass Effect 3 with the ending and things like that, but I thought they did a decent job. BioWare listened to all their fans, all the petitions, and they actually went back in and changed the endings. So I think, as a series, Mass Effect is just a great series. Mass Effect 3, probably the weakest game in the trilogy, but I had a really great time playing it, and I'm not going to let the ending spoil what was overall like 95% an amazing experience playing this game. So, not going to really let that worry me too much. But I also don't like the fact that it seems like they are pretty much going to ignore everything from the Commander Shepard series, which kind of sucks, because there are some characters, if you think about it, the Krogan, the Asari, all the races in Mass Effect have really, really long lifespans. The Turians. So it seems like characters like Liara and Rex and Grunt and a lot of the other fan favorites, it seems like they would still be around in terms of age. So, I was kind of hoping they'd at least have some cameos, and maybe they will. We don't know a lot about the game yet, so maybe they will. We really don't know. But I really wish they weren't just writing off the prior trilogy completely. But either way, very, 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 very excited for Mass Effect 4. Part of me is skeptical, though. I'm thinking that the trilogy originally was such a great series. Do we really want to see them make a fourth game that doesn't measure up, and then everybody hates it? That is definitely a worry. There's some good things in life where it's like you just wish they would be left alone. Movie series come to mind. It's like you look at. I often compare, like, you look at Alien and Aliens and Terminator 2. It's like absolutely amazing movies on their own, absolutely amazing movies as a series, but they really should have just been left alone after the second film, because Terminator 3, Alien 3, and everything that came afterwards with Alien has been pretty much terrible. The same thing could be said for Terminator. You wish sometimes they would just leave the good stuff alone. Actually, what I would like more than anything with Mass Effect, instead of maybe a new game, is if they would do if they would do a remake of the entire trilogy. I hate remakes. I think it's a lazy way to do games, but the one exception I would make for that would be Mass Effect. If they went back and took Mass Effect, the first game, the second Mass Effect and the third, and they basically kind of would need to revamp the combat style for the first game, and they would need to add in some other elements, but just leave it alone for the most part. And then basically what you could do is I think they could make some enhancements to it, like they could make all the characters romance options instead of just having some of the very linear romance paths in the game. There's a lot of stuff they could do to improve upon it, but not overly change it that much. Just minor little things they could put in that would make it pretty awesome. So that's, like I said, definitely a game I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to be watching EA's press conference, and hopefully they do quite a bit about Mass Effect, and it's not just a little 2-minute teaser like we got last year. Because at this point, we really need to see some information on the game, maybe some gameplay, and just hope and see what they are planning to do with the game as a whole. So that's it for Mass Effect 4. That's definitely probably that's really I think number 2 on my radar. The first game that I'm really wanting to see some stuff about is what I'm going to talk about now, and that is No Man's Sky, which is another sci-fi game. If you guys don't know about No Man's Sky, I will link some of the trailers and some of the other information down below so you can go check it out. It's basically going to be a single-player game where you go and you explore the universe. You start off on a planet. You don't know where that planet is. You get a spaceship and you get to fly around and explore stuff and find resources. And it's basically like space exploration. It looks really awesome from everything I've seen so far. And I just hoping at E3 that they managed to give us shed a little bit more light on the game, because so far all we've seen have been some gameplay, a little bit of gameplay here and there, but there's really not a whole lot of details. What we do know is there is going to be kind of an economy, and you can collect resources and trade things as you make your journey through the galaxy. And the whole goal of the game is to try to reach the center of the galaxy. That's apparently where the end point is, that you will finish the game at. And they say there's about 60 to 100 hours of content in the game if you take a direct approach and try to beat the game outright. However, if you don't want to do that and you want to just explore everything the game has to offer, then it pretty much is an endless game. Everything in the game kind of automatically generates itself. It's kind of like Borderlands loot system, where it has all the different variations of loot you can get, and everything is randomized. So no two people are ever going to have like the same weapon. No Man's Sky is apparently going to do that with all of the planets. Everything is going to generate itself, and so you can go explore all these different planets, and your experience is going to be different than everyone else. You can find all these new species. There's just all kinds of really cool stuff that in the game, and very, very, very excited about it. And of course, like I said, it's a game we don't really know much about, so it's just something I want to see some information on. How the game system is going to work, are they going to be able to live up to the hype of just having this completely explorable galaxy where you can go anywhere? It's completely open world. I mean, you can get in your spaceship and you can fly up into the sky, fly through the atmosphere, and go directly into space, and then hit your warp drive and go to another planet. And that is apparently all doable without any loading screens whatsoever. So that is going to be very interesting to see how they're going to pull that off, what kind of game engine they're going to be using to do that. And yeah, just overall very, very exciting to see some No Man's Sky. Now, it's only going to be at this point for PC and PlayStation 4. There are no plans for Xbox right now, which does kind of suck. But I guess we'll see if that comes eventually. No idea at this point right now. That's going to be some more stuff they might talk about at E3. So that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the 4 games I'm really, really looking forward to. It's great because this is probably the first E3 in a couple of years I've been really excited about. And just really looking forward to seeing what we're going to get on these games, and obviously some other games. There's another game I was kind of been following, and that's the Ark. I believe it's Ark Evolution is what they call it. It's the survival MMO game, the one with the dinosaurs, if you guys have seen that one. Although I watched a lot of the beta on a couple of guys that were streaming the beta, and really was not a fan of how the game worked in terms of just being able to troll other players. It seemed like, it's open world, you go anywhere. You can do all kinds of cool stuff like build houses and, start fires, and you can cook and learn crafting skills and all this other stuff. But it seemed like all anybody was doing in the beta was just trolling everybody else. They were going around killing players, burning down their shelters, screwing up when they were trying to tame dinosaurs. They were screwing up that, and it's hopefully it's one of those things where you're going to have PvE, PvP servers, so that the people who want to be dicks and screw around with everybody else can kind of stay on their own server. But that is another game that I didn't really mention it at length here, but that's definitely another game I'm paying a little bit of attention to. Want to see what they're going to do with that, because who doesn't love dinosaurs? I mean, honestly, the fact you can ride a velociraptor or something, that's pretty cool. So also, obviously there's going to be some other little games here and there that we'll get to see, and hopefully will be good. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. Let me know down below if you're looking forward to E3, if there's any games that you're looking for on there that you are really interested in, really excited about. Just let me know what you think about E3. If what game do you want to see at E3? What game are you most looking forward to coming out this year? And that's pretty much going to do it, guys. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. The weekend is pretty much here, just a few more hours to go. Hope you guys have some good, relaxing, fun plans this weekend. I'm going to work on a few more videos and some other things and see what else is going on. I got some other gaming videos coming up this weekend on a few other things. Maybe talking about a little bit more with Halo. But that's pretty much going to do it for me. Hope you guys are having a great day again. It's been TechnoViking 23, and I'll see you again next time.